Well, we've been out for a walk this morning around Esporles, and we're now going to have a little afternoon, evening walk here in Palmanova. It's our go-to place for an evening stroll, so we'll be happy to have you along. Come along with us and we can chat along the way. See you on the walk. You know, you think you know a place, so we've been coming to Palmanova now for over 35 years, and we never realised that there was a Norwegian church here in Palmanova. There you go. So we're just on the lookout for the Martinez apartments. Carolyn asked me to look out for the Martinez apartments for her. She's coming here with a few friends, and she was just wondering where they were and wanted to know what they looked like. So we've just come for a little walk in Palmanova. We're going to walk along the front, but we've spotted the Martinez apartments for you. Got a swimming pool out at the front, nice terraces, looks to be quite a nicely kept apartment block, and the gate's open. I imagine may even be people staying there at the moment. So there's the Martinez. Carolyn, thanks for putting your comment in there, and hopefully you'll be able to come out and see us here in Mallorca very soon. We're going to head back, we're going to go down towards the front, and we're going to start our walk along the front in Palmanova. So this morning we got in the car and we went off to the mountains. We went to the village of Esporles, which is in the Tramuntana mountains. Went there because it's market day, and villages I think are always at their best on a market day. There's a little bit more life to them. Not a lot of stalls there today, but enough to make it interesting, and we managed to find a cafe where we could have a drink, and we have some tapas. So if you haven't already seen that video, then you might want to have a look. It's a beautiful little village, nice market, and we did manage to buy one or two things at the market, and one of them, the sobrasada, I hope to be cooking later on this evening, and I might even make a video of that if it turns out alright. We'll see. And the other reason for coming down to Palmanova this evening was I had a message in the comments from Carolyn, who's planning to come here on a holiday to the Martinez apartments. So we've just been round to the Martinez apartments and just done a little video just to reassure her. She's never been before, so she needed a little bit of reassurance to see that the apartments were okay. They look actually quite nice, seem to be very well kept, clean, nice pool, and only a 5-minute walk from the front here in Palmanova. So Carolyn, I hope the video's okay, and thank you for commenting. If any of you got any questions, then best place to leave them is in the comments just below the YouTube video. So just below the YouTube video there's a space where you can add comments, and that makes it easy for me to find them. If you leave the comments on Facebook or Twitter or anywhere else, somehow they tend to disappear and I find them difficult to find. So I do apologise if I've missed any of your comments. So if you can, fine. If not a problem. We are really enjoying reading your comments. It's one of the first things Anita asks me in the morning is, what have they said? What are your comments? And it's really nice to read them. Tell Anita what you've been saying about the videos and the questions that you're asking. And sometimes I might have an answer, and sometimes I might not have an answer. But we're here to help. It's something we enjoy doing. It's why we do it. So we come out again. It's It's early evening, it's about 5:25 now, and the rules have the restrictions that bars and restaurants have to close now at 5 o'clock, so all the bars and restaurants are closing up, and we can't go for a coffee, we can't go for a beer. So what we can do is just go for a walk. The temperature's been pretty nice today, around about 20 or so, but it's windy and it's been very breezy today, and it's bringing in some waves on the sea. We went to Banyalbufar after Esporles, and the waves were crashing against the rocks there. Really quite impressive. And here in Palmanova, the waves are crashing along on the beach. So early evening, most people now have cleared off the beach. Not a perfect day for the beach anyway. And because it's so windy, there's no paddle boarders out there that we normally see, no kayakers, not even anyone in any sailing boats. It's maybe a little bit too breezy today. Even though it is a little bit breezy, it's still a very pleasant walk just on this path going around the headland here in Palmanova. See the waves crashing on the rocks here. All seem to be a little bit bigger in Banyalbufar this morning. Bigger waves, bigger rocks. Yesterday we went for a walk along the Paseo Maritimo. That's the front in Palma, and if you look back, there's a video in the YouTube channel of that walk, and in that video I go through a lot of the rules and regulations that have changed here in Mallorca over the past week. So one of the things was that last Saturday, a week ago today, we welcomed 200 German tourists to Mallorca, and everything was very promising. But since then things seem to have changed considerably. So in Germany they're now restricting the travel, that people now have to have PCR tests on the return, and so a lot of Germans have already booked to come for Easter. So there's something like 500 flights coming over the next 2 weeks for Easter to bring German travellers here. More than 20 hotels have opened up on the Playa de Palma. Just read that as it came out. And so the Germans are potentially coming, but they're going to have to be tested before they return. So before they can actually get on an aeroplane to go back to Germany, they need to have a negative PCR test. Not sure how that's going to work, but I did read in the paper last week that some of the hoteliers were talking to some of the clinics to organise tests in the hotels. It wasn't at that point clear who was going to pay for these tests, or indeed how much the tests were going to cost. So that will hopefully be cleared up in the next few days before the German tourists have to return. So that really gave a little bit of a dampener on the German tourist side. And from the British side, well, everything started to be a little bit more promising. The Spanish government decided that it was not illegal anymore for British people to come here on holiday to Mallorca, so the British travellers were taken off the red list and put onto a green list. But more or less the same time, or the day after, Boris Johnson and his government decided to fine anyone who went on holiday £5,000. So if you go on holiday from the UK at the moment, it's going to cost you £5,000 in a fine. All that could change, of course. 17th of February is the magic day. What's going to happen on the 17th? 17th of May is the magic day, and on the 17th of May you may well have the opportunity to come to Mallorca, but we'll have to wait and see. Well, let's move on. The volleyball players have been out. There's all the volleyball nets are out, and some are out there still playing. We have to negotiate these steps now, so I'm going to just turn the camera off for a bit. So some of the volleyball players are still out here. Others seem to have gone home. One of the places that's been commented on quite a few times is the Tropico, Hotel Tropico across the road here. So we're just going to have a look. We're doing some work. We were here last week, so we'll just see what progress has been made at the Hotel Tropico. Oh, still some piles of sand here. The work is still ongoing. But progress is being made. I'll keep walking past the Hotel Tropico and keep posting the videos so people can see what's going on there. But this is our go-to place for a walk. This is nice and flat, and usually there's plenty of cafes and bars that we can stop at for a drink. Not unfortunately this evening. And we can look out to the sea and see what's going on, so it's quite a lively sort of view. We've got one kite surfer out there who's struggling with the wind. It's getting dragged off into the sea. Still got an ice cream. In fact, you can get takeaways now, so even though the restaurants, bars are closed, they've only closed to serving on terraces, and on the interiors they close completely, but until 5 o'clock they can serve on a terrace. They're still allowed to do takeaways, so many of the bars and restaurants have adapted so that they can stay open after 5 o'clock, and people can come in and collect food that they've ordered. So they just send a message or telephone the bar, the restaurant, and the food is waiting for them. So that works reasonably well, and it means that they can continue to employ some of their staff. There was some big news this morning from the government. Some of the European Union cash is coming our way to the tune of about 1,000 million euros almost €1 billion is going to be coming to the island to help those businesses that have struggled during the past year, and hopefully that will help. So as it came out, there was a notice that the furlough scheme that we have here, which is called ERTE, will continue after May, and hopefully by June things will start to pick up as the tourism restarts. They're still hoping to have us all vaccinated by June. We're still waiting for our first vaccine. We were part of a group who was supposed to be having the Pfizer vaccine, and that was not going to be available till April anyway, so we're not surprised that we're not being vaccinated. But they changed the rules last week, and our age group can now be vaccinated with the AstraZeneca vaccine. So we're just waiting for the call. And once we get that call, we'll be off to the vaccination centre to get our first jab. If it's the AstraZeneca jab, there's a fairly long wait for the second jab. If it's the Pfizer jab, it's done in a relatively short time, about 2 weeks. So swings and roundabouts, but we'll get there in the end. And according to the authorities, June is when they expect us all to be vaccinated, or the bulk of the population to be properly vaccinated. And if that's the case, then there should not be too much of an issue in opening up hotels, bars and restaurants. So we'll see. Something we've not seen for a long time, someone wheeling a suitcase. It's a very rare sight over the past year. Just getting past the Barbuda Beach Bar and Grill. It's closed now, but it's one of the last places where I had dinner with Paul, who passed away a year ago today, and would have been a regular visitor to the Globales hotel here, the Santa Lucia. It's very sadly missed. It's the Chinese. All the tables are out, but closed now because it's after 5 o'clock. So here's the middle beach. Still got a few people on. Some ducks down there paddling away. They can't go for a swim today, they get washed up. It really is quite breezy, and that's making the sea a little bit more murky than it is normally. The sea has been incredibly clear over the recent weeks. It's just amazing how clean the water is. If it's my imagination, but it seems to be getting more and more windy, and the waves seem to be getting bigger and bigger. As usual, there's quite a few boats anchored just here, and it's usually a very calm anchorage, but certainly not today. These boats are being tossed around a little bit, and hopefully they've got good lines out there and they're not going to move around too much. Here's the Santa Lucia. So all the terracing's cleared off and they're just waiting for the signal. And here now on to the Santa Matias beach. Not so many people on here. One or two children playing on the sand and the odd seagull. Asked about the San Matias hotel and see if we could video it, so we'll walk past it on this side on the way back. We'll just have a look at the door entrance. San Matias is one of the hotels that's been closed up for 18 months now nearly. Been keeping an eye on what used to be the Costa Coffee here next to the San Matias. Well, that went and all the signs were taken down, and then suddenly work started and it's actually moving on a pace now, and the new place is starting to take shape. And the decking's all done now. The bar's been built, nice marble bar. There's going to be a roof terrace where you can hold events, but it is looking as though it's going to be really nice. You look at their website and you'll see it looks as though it's going to be quite an impressive place to come and have a drink or have a meal. It overlooks the beach in Palmanova. When I get to this point, I start to think about Naz, who wrote to me to tell me that father was missing Palmanova and missing this view, missing the beach in this area. So if you're watching Naz, just remind your father to have another look. Here's the apartments that you asked me to video, and I hope he is well, recovering, and is able to come again soon. So we're getting close to the end of the San Matias beach now. Unfortunately, at this point we would normally want to be going into the olive tree, but the restrictions have said that they have to close, so we can't go there. But hopefully after Easter, when the restrictions will be reviewed and that will change, and we'll be able to come out in the evening and go for a drink, or maybe even have something to eat. Just above the olive tree is Origin. We've yet to discover Origin, but we're told that it's very good and it's one of the places that we should be going to. Work, and that's all completed, and under normal circumstances they would be open. We're just discussing whether we should walk to the end here. Actually, as I just said that, it's gone a lot calmer. We've obviously gone into the lull of the wind, so it's not as breezy as it was. Maybe we'll be a little bit protected. So the sea is a little bit calmer here. I'm just going underneath the blue bar above and Key West down below. Now we're out of the breeze, it actually feels quite a bit warmer. Anita's taking a scarf off, it must be getting warmer. Rubber dinghy there that's suffering from conditions. And here we have the pool just below the Hawaii. No one swimming today. Now we can hear the trees, the wind's blowing the palms. If this keeps up overnight, we might have to go and look for some surfers tomorrow. So we're going to be heading back to the car. We've got to go do a little bit of shopping. We go to Mercadona to do our shopping, so hopefully we get that done. I will turn the camera on to put a few more things on as we go, but hope you're enjoying this. If you are, don't forget, share it with your friends, let them have a look, see what Palmanova is like. 27th of March 2021, and it's a beautiful day. One thing up here that has gone, or seems to have gone, is the Blau Press, which is the news agents just at the top of here on the corner, and that's closed down probably before Christmas now. And there's another one lower down next to the Beehive that also went, so whether they've closed temporarily or whether it's been closed permanently, I'm not sure. So we actually walk now around the back, so we're on the road just behind the promenade. That's a little bit more sheltered here, not so much wind. Also gives us an opportunity to video this side of some of the buildings. In particular, here we've got the Edificio San Matias. Big jobs are being done at this time of the year, so the road's been resurfaced, and so that's just one of the jobs out of the way. And some other parts, they've been digging up the road, laying new pipes, and those will soon be finished. And that's normal, that's what happens during the winter time here in Mallorca. The big jobs that can't be done when the tourists are here, they're done during the winter time. One of the many children's parks here in Mallorca. Something the Spanish authorities do very well, to provide park facilities for the children. This is Viceroy's Steakhouse Pizzeria. Not sure whether that's going to remain. Looks like it at the moment, but on the other side we've got this new place which is called Sisos. And we're just coming up to the San Matias Beach Hotel. So we saw that from the beach side, and we're now coming to the road side. Fenced off, closed up.
Hola.
Hola.
And this is the entrance, so we'll actually walk past the entrance. Not a lot to see, unfortunately, because everything's closed up. But they're due to open on June 22nd, according to their website. To hear the wind is hitting again, full strength. Getting a bit closer now to the Santa Lucia, and I do usually remark on the trees here, how well pruned they are, and it's kept looking good. even though we don't have the tourists here to appreciate them. So they're doing it for us, the residents here. After my last video, someone mentioned a couple of bars. Here's the Three Brothers bar, just across the road from the entrance to the Santa Lucia Hotel, and right next to that, the Orion pub. Two bars where Paul and Angela and I would have a drink every evening when they were here. I'd come down after school and have a beer with them. Sadly, that's not going to happen. Paul passed away a year ago today. The Happy Chinese can't be open inside or even on the terrace, but you can get a takeaway. Again, we're out of the wind, so it's a bit more pleasant here. You can still hear the trees being blown around. Park across the road is now finished, and there's actually children playing in it, so that's really good. So when the many comments that we receive when we walk through Palmanova, lots of them ask about this bar and that bar, and here's the Gelacious, very good place apparently. Across the road we've got Monroe's, and here's Taylor's cocktail bar. Not looking their best at the moment, but they will be ready for you when you come out here on your holiday. I think since we were last here, the palm trees here have been pruned. Take off the upper leaves. We are coming up to Easter. Palm leaves just reminded me of that. Being quite a religious country, and a Catholic country at that, Spain is usually having lots of processions and religious celebrations over Easter, but all of those have had to be cancelled last year and cancelled again this year. So the fantastic processions that we quite often go to in Palma, usually with thousands and thousands of other people, will not be taking place this year. But hopefully next year will be different, and I for one, not being the religious sort, but I for one will be looking forward to going to see these processions. They're quite spectacular, and I'll be looking forward to sharing those with you. So stick around, and we'll see if we can get some of those for next year. Just coming up to some more of the bars. The Bora Bora bar, which was mentioned before, that is open I think during the daytime, but obviously not now. Banana Joe's across the road, that won't be open until tourists start to come. Castaways has been open, and the Italian, which is is getting ready to open seems to be expanding considerably. So we've got 2 here, one further down the road, and we've noticed another one in Portals Naus. Another one of the children's parks. Lots of children out Saturday evening. Just after 6 p.m. We're now getting into an area where it's a little bit more exposed and the wind's picking up yet again. Walked past the happy Chinese, Anita's wondering whether we should have a Chinese tonight or should we have sobrasada. Oh, decisions. Most of the volleyball players have abandoned the beach. The hardy ones left over there. The 104 bus, Palma to Magaluf. They're run with limited capacity. You're not allowed to stand on them anymore. Which will make a big change from how the buses used to run when they'd be absolutely packed. To McDonald's, which I think is closed. They're doing deliveries up until 10 o'clock in the evening, so not completely closed. Someone was mentioning the bookshop that used to be down there. The Chinese. Just going around the back of Sea Rose now. Place we've not been for quite a while. Used to be on our list of places to go in Palmanova. They've got a beautiful view over the beach and over the sea. We have occasionally sat here on the terrace, which also has a nice view over the sea, so one of our places that we should be going to. It's now looking a lot quieter on the promenade, people making their way home. The road we have the Beehive. It's one of our places to go to, either for a coffee or a beer, or quite often we go for something to eat as well. Abracadabra went, and so that is being redeveloped. Lots of work going on across the road at Abracadabra. Keep you posted on how that changes. American Diner looks to be still in operation. One thing we haven't quite worked out is what's happened to cappuccino. So cappuccino's now gone from here. It was on the front in Parma, that's gone. Not quite sure what's going on. But if I find out, I'll let you know. Just coming up to the Fergus Hotel. Fergus Hotel is actually one of the places, we've never stayed there, but it's somewhere after we've been out for dinner. Sometimes we stop off for coffee, a nightcap. It's always been quite a nice place to go to. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our video, and if you have, please share it with your friends. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, give us a thumbs up, all those things, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.
Bye.
Bye for now. Bye. Just a little postscript to that. We've just seen a police van pull up, and they're talking to people on the beach because the groups are exceeding 6. You're only allowed to have 6 people on the beach, and the maximum of 2 households. And there was obviously a group on the beach that was considerably more than 6. So here's my little postscript. They apparently are going over with helicopters and drones with heat sensing cameras to sense whether there are groups of more than 4 generally, or 6 on the beach. I've not seen any sign of any helicopters or drones going over, but the police were definitely there telling the group on the beach that they'd got to disperse. So, end of that particular postscript, and time to go home. Chinese has been selected for this evening, so we'll have to save the sobrasada for a future video. Maybe tomorrow, we'll see. Okay, bye for now.